is more than hope. It's more than freedom. It's also trust. Like right now, we see in the world, we see what's happening with Doge and what's going on with Elon Musk, and we're learning so much of what's not true. Billions of dollars, trillions of dollars misappropriated. And you start to say, I just want to latch on to something that's true, that is verifiably true.
Welcome back to Bitcoin Chiang podcast, and today is very special because basically we do the podcast in Thai and Thai northern language, but today we are with Jimmy Castro.
Wow, everybody slow down.
Hello there. How's it going?
A little intimidating today. Usually I'm just here working around here.
Today is very special. We are here because of the marathon 2025, right?
Yeah, we have a lot going on with the marathon and the festival.
But before we talk about the marathon, let's talk about our Bitcoin Learning Center first.
Cool. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So how do you feel? Like right now it's 2 years already of the Bitcoin Learning Center.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal to think about. We just saw last week the photos of when this was all demolition and destroyed and the bricks were on the ground. And then it was 2 years ago that you were like in one of the really small dormitory rooms and I just got a photo of you and you were facing one of the ways and you were praying, and you could see in the photo that you were like praying about the project because the vision was pretty challenging to see the vision through of what we were going to build here.
Right.
Like the roof, the ceilings were small, the rooms were small, the bathrooms were really tiny. It's in a really unique area. The pathway, there's no real driveway. So I mean, it's kind of difficult to see that through. So just thinking back, that being 2 years ago to this week, it's pretty impressive to see how many people have came here, how much we've built since then. We were just saying the other day, really funny, about some of my friends that come here. I don't even know where they're from. Like, and you're mentioning something like, you don't know if they're from America, and I'm like, I don't really get to that part too often. Like since we're so enamored by this one specific subject, like their first name or their country is not like the first thing that comes to mind. In a real traditional relationship or introduction, what's your name? Where are you from? But half the time, people walk in and they're like, I'm Bruce Leroy 519, and I'm like, nice to finally meet you, Bruce. So those are kind of cool, unique things.
Exactly. One of my favorite part is that there are many people around the world to visit here, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, we hear different accents, more than 20 accents in this building. It's kind of cool that it's a place that welcome all people around the world to be here. And back to the past 2 years, we pray a lot.
Yeah.
Because the building is pretty old and old-fashioned too.
Yeah.
So we just don't know, how to renovate it to be like this.
Yeah.
And we pray with the universe, and just like, okay, guide us, help us to make it's like the best place in northern of Thailand.
Yeah.
And finally, there you go.
This is great.
Koi
Yeah,
Chiang
this
Mai.
it's kind of cool to see this all develop too. Recently, during our larger events, you had a big Thai meetup, and you guys collectively thought that you should start this podcast. And it was really cool because, like, we had the equipment here because we have a lot of people come through that have questions on the research that you're doing and the Bitcoin hub that we've built and all of the work we're doing. And having this equipment was like, obviously, and people were like, oh, are you going to have a podcast? And I'm like, no, it's not my interest. But it's so funny to see how they had said, listen, you basically have a studio, you have pretty decent lighting. Like right now, we don't have artificial light other than a few light bulbs that are like the ones you do on the wall. And now all of a sudden, you and your friends and the Thai community got behind you and said, because of your proof of work, of what you've built, including your family and your father and Neo and Eve and Nan and AB and everyone that's contributed, and Michael who's drawing these beautiful things on the wall as we speak. Like these are the things that enabled the Northern Thai community to encourage you to start your podcast. And it's pretty inspiring to see because it's been right in front of me the whole time, and I never really put two and two together.
So what is your favorite part here at Bitcoin Learning Center?
I kind of want to talk about what's not my favorite part.
Okay,
but no.
All right, you talk about that first. What not your favorite part?
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. All of this is done through translation, and you have to just like hope for the best. And luckily, I've got a really good translator. As we know, Fai's the director here, and Fai's communicates with all of our construction leads, construction teams, the whole thing. But like, I just wish we had more space. And here in Walk 8, it's really tight, like you're in a major city, like a New York City, and there's just no parking, or it's just expensive. So that's a real big challenge. So, and I know we're building higher and higher, and it's going further and better. So that's kind of one thing I'd like to kind of break through in my head. And this space is really open and cool how we have it. Really love this open floor plan that we did, and the third floor looks cool too. But I think I don't know. My favorite part of this is just seeing how many people come by are like really comfortable. They're inspired. They're comfortable to be here. They're comfortable to come and sit down, and how everybody welcomes new people to come in the door. We have new people come through almost every daily thing. So that's maybe my favorite part, even though it is in a way disruptive because you're like working on so many things, and then here comes like Sarah through the door from like, I don't know, Turkey or Ireland, and you're like, nice to meet you. How's your journey? So I think luckily like Neo kind of helps out with some of that stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of one of my more favorite things about this building is what we've done has attracted a lot of people.
Same thing. It's like a proof of work, and people very appreciate what we have done so far.
Yeah.
Yes. And Jimmy, actually, you've been here for many years, and I consider you as a local people, like a Chiang Mai-nese. What would you like to contribute this city?
See, this is a great question. I think that just like 2 weeks ago, we had over 100 people in this building. And it's not just 100 people. These are, I'd say, 80% expats. We had maybe 10% visitors or some other local event in town. These are really thoughtful, like intelligent, everything from engineers to developers to mathematicians to just curious traveler. Like, this has became a magnet. And we could see that, like Joe Nakamoto said, he could feel it's got legs. It's going somewhere. Like your research is going to be broadcasted to many organizations and countries. Our meetups have grown so large that we have to build a building and keep building and building. And, some people say, well, if Bitcoin reaches certain pricing, they want to get a condo in Malaysia, or they want to get a second passport, or they want to get a fancy car. But we kind of want to keep on building. And I think that the way that we're doing it, without going too fast or too slow, is attracting the right quality people for the community. And they're starting to see why we live here, why we do what we do here. They start quickly understanding that Thailand is really, really safe, especially in northern Thailand. The quality of life is really comfortable. The cost of living is really good. So you bring all these things together, and it's only natural that we'd have a Bitcoin hub. And that being here, we also are encouraging innovation. And we have a lot of people that are intersected with AI. So it's an innovative hub. So my vision is that we just keep on doing exactly as we're doing, and it attracting young innovators, young entrepreneurs, or old entrepreneurs to come and at least have like a foothold in a place where they could share their ideas and say, okay, maybe we could build another building. Maybe we could build an AI building, or something that's helpful, that kind of connects and bridges these things together. And then hopefully our community could grow from more than the 100 people to say 500 people.
Okay, great, wonderful. We always, support your idea, and we have our team to support the idea too. Next question. I believe that many people, want to visit Thailand, and you have to understand that it's a different culture between West and East. Here is like Asian culture, and Thailand pretty unique. Tell us a little bit about your culture shock in Thailand.
This morning, I was looking for a pair of socks.
Huh?
This is why, hear me out. And I said, why can't I just go on Amazon right now, and then later in the day, my size socks will be here. And they'll have 14,000 reviews, and I just know that. Yesterday, I'm trying to design this vessel thing. It's just an extracurricular outside hobby. And I don't have access to these tools and things I need right away, instantly. So I'm missing that the functions of Amazon in America are different than Lazada and Shopee here. These little things are a little bit of a challenge. And then I would say definitely the shocking thing is you think you could come from your American way of life or your Western way of life, and you're for business-minded people, it's okay, I see a problem, I can potentially solve this problem or provide a solution. But you learn that just the economics don't pan out. The numbers don't work. For example, my brothers have a very successful power washing company, and there's so many beautiful buildings here that are just really dirty. And you think, wait a minute, this is a problem that we could solve. But there's not a lot of disposable income here. The salaries are not comparable. Like you say, there's a large gap in society, and that's a major East and West shock of okay. And on the reverse side, a lot of people come here and say that Thailand's the very best in the world. But as you mentioned, I've been here for 3 years, and if you start thinking from a Thai person's perspective, you start seeing some of these struggles, like lack of access to opportunity, lack of access to finance. And so this is kind of a shocking thing once you have swam in the sea and seen how cheap everything could be. The reality of Thailand for Thai natives is starkly different, and you can't implement West and East together as much as you think you can.
And how you deal with all culture shock? I believe that is kind of frustrated, right? And how you deal with it.
You know, there's some solidarity to it too. Like, I'm not consumed or distracted by a lot of the things that would be in the West. So because I don't speak the language, because I don't have access to things, I have to learn a different level of patience. I have to learn more about myself of like, man, like, don't freak out because there's no help on the way. You know, like, you need your people around you to, if you piss them off too much, you know, you're going to cause it to be even more difficult to navigate living here. That said, it's really easy also to find a lot of like-minded people because there's not so many of them. So, like, you know, I have really good relationship with Matthew or Marks or these guys like Henry that come by. And since we're Bitcoiners and they have that like American flair, you know, it's a little more comfortable because some things don't cross. Like, one thing that really doesn't cross from the East to the West in the culture shock is humor. Mm-hmm. Like, it's hard enough to like understand what we mean. But the humor is something that's like noticeably hard. So I think I bottle that up and then I get to go to the West and test out if I'm still normal once or twice a year.
Let's talk about the positive part of Thailand or Chiang Mai. Because every time when you travel, you always say that, oh, I want to go home. I want to go back to Chiang Mai. Okay, something there. Okay, tell us a little bit.
Okay, listen. We've tried, if there's 50 islands in Thailand, we've tried 40 of them. We just want to find a place to escape the smoke. So, like, you look at it and say, okay, the PM 2.5, the smoky season's really challenging. But as soon as you go away, you realize all of the great things about here. And the people in the north, okay, Phuket, that's not Thailand. Mm-hmm. Like, my friend was saying the other day, he read a statistic that for every Thai national is 118 tourists. It's just not. And if you want to go live on a resort and stay in a resort, that's cool. That's great, but you're not in Thailand. You have to get out and be immersed in the community. So I think the easiest way to understand Thailand or Chiang Mai specifically is by getting outside of Chiang Mai and start saying, what do we miss? Well, you don't hear anyone honking horns. Even though they're not making a ton of money, even though their life is tough enough, they're reserved, they're considerate, they're compassionate, they're patient. And that calming effect is pretty powerful. You're like, whoa, that's, sabai, I'll get through it. Life is tough enough. So that is like a really cool thing. And that translates or like springs off to other areas of the local community. And everyone starts to be in that kind of more reserved, chilled, laid back environment. Not saying laid back like do nothing, but laid back like take it easy, And I think things like it raining here for 6 months, the smoky season, if we didn't have those two things, I believe Chiang Mai would be a little bit more like Phuket. And we would have so many more tourists, so many more expats. And tourism drives the city, I get it. Expats are an important part of the community. But this is still Thailand. And these challenges actually make it a really great place. So, and there's a really unique opportunity. Like you see, there's a young, vibrant community, CMU, CMRU, PIAP University. There's a lot of energy. These kids want to work. They don't want to go to Bangkok. They want to make Bangkok money and live in Chiang Mai. And because of what we're doing, and because of things like Dr. Joe is doing, and these really great initiatives, we could start to bring that in and make this community, it doesn't have to be like a Phuket, but it could be more of a tech type innovation city. And I think that's another thing that I like about here is we can. It's a you can do it here city. And it's going to have challenges. Every city has their challenges. We don't have crime. We have amazing food. We have the best weather. It's super safe. It's clean. It's comfortable. So even when we go to these rich countries that we visit all the time, you miss Chiang Mai. You just miss Chiang Mai because it's just got this cool way of life. And sometimes the money and the trade-offs that you would have somewhere else would maybe have another mental health effect on you. So I just think there's maybe it's just seeing the beautiful mountains and the greenery and the old history and culture with hundreds or 120 temples. There's a lot of history, and it didn't leave here. So I really think Chiang Mai is one of the best places to live.
Yes, if Chiang Mai is one of the best places to stay, how we can attract all investors or the big company like tech company in the States to be here?
Keep doing exactly what you're doing.
For example,
this podcast is a really good platform to reach out and share with people what it is really like here. We're not in the middle of a rice paddy. We have these microphones. We're in an air-conditioned building, and we have restaurants and malls, and northern Thailand is not like many people think. So keep doing what you're doing. Share what you're passionate about. Invite more people to be around you. Find like-minded people, and talk more about that because it creates this magnetic synergy that gets more people around you. And then once you have a handful of people around, the same thing happened with the podcast with you a week or two. I'm sorry. The Bitcoin meetup gave birth to the podcast because you got 10, 12, 15 people around in the same room. They all share the same vision. And now here we are. So I don't think we have to push too hard and raise tall skyscrapers and make massive billboards and convince local bureaucracy and leadership. We just have to do from the ground up like we do with the Bitcoin Learning Center and let water flow and find its way.
yes, actually, we do this podcast because of our Thai community, try to encourage us to do it because they just want to know more what's going on, and they want to know more about other people, like other Bitcoiners. For example, Jimmy, you are Bitcoiners, right, for many years. Mm-hmm. Who did give you the orange pill? Back to 5 or 6 years?
I wouldn't say there's a specific person that orange pilled me in the journey. I was first introduced to it by a guy named Jim, or Jimmy, in 2017. I didn't really lock into it until the very first few months of 2020. That's when it all clicked. You know what it was? It's interesting. What orange pilled me was something called the difficulty adjustment. And every 2016 blocks, the system, I'd say like surveys the whole network for how many miners. And that moment was like a really big moment for me. Like when I recognized this difficulty adjustment in Bitcoin, I'm like, it's in a way that the system is like an organism. It's like not correcting, but it's self-searching for how difficult it needs to make the entire mining network every 2 weeks. So every 2016 blocks is roughly 2 weeks. It's every 10 minutes, 24 hours times 14, you'll get right to 2016. That was like an orange peeling moment. Like, wait a minute. So this system's really alive by itself. So if there's node operators that are scattered on every country in the world, and as long as we have a handful of miners, you only need a handful. And wherever there's renewable energy, there's a lot of incentive for mining activity. And you're, wait a minute. there's I mean, this could go on. We might even have to have another podcast sometime to talk more about the Bitcoin part, because you're talking about Chiang Mai, you're talking about the Bitcoin Learning Center. But that moment for me was kind of like a very orange pilling moment when I read about this in 2020. Yeah.
And how Bitcoin changed your life?
I'm not sure there's anything that Bitcoin did not change about my life. Bitcoin is more than hope. It's more than freedom. It's also trust. Like right now, we see in the world, we see what's happening with Doge and what's going on with Elon Musk, and we're learning so much of what's not true. You know, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars misappropriated. And you start to say, I just want to latch on to something that's true, that is verifiably true. And when you know that the node we run in this office and the node we run in the other office is validating the blockchain consistently, when you know that every 10 minutes the system's being audited, when we're just now talking about auditing gold in America, when you know that there's only 21 million, it gives Bitcoin a sense of truth. It's something that you could really say, this is absolutely verifiable true, and I could verify it with the mining that we have downstairs, the nodes we have here, and being able to look at the software and say there is only a certain amount of this. So to me, it's more than just freedom, and that is so powerful, and the hope is so powerful. And then when you say that it's also a truth, you combine these things and say, how could it not change you?
I like when you say that Bitcoin is a freedom, is a truth, and is a hope. I think it's exactly true. Yeah, it's a hope for everyone if you understand, and also it's a truth. You can prove it. Yeah, it's a proof of work. So this is why we run Bitcoin Learning Center, and this year we're going to do the big thing. It's a proof of work too. We're going to do the marathon and festival here in Chiang Mai.
Yeah,
it's going to be the first half marathon in the world too. Tell us a little bit.
The world's first Bitcoin marathon,
Yeah,
or the world's first Bitcoin half marathon. That's really exciting. And here in Thailand, there's a lot of marathons. It's a very picturesque place. It's a great place to have marathons. They're very popular. We have signed with the top premier race organizers in the country. So it's not like we're just starting this from our scratch and our connections. And this marathon and festival is more about financial literacy and financial inclusion and financial empowerment, because our objective is to create awareness and exposure to the Bitcoin brand. So we believe that this is a good opportunity with the tailwinds of Thailand striding to be the leader in Bitcoin and crypto innovation in Asia. We believe this is an awesome time to let people know what is this, and if we create not just the marathon, the festival, we'll be able to have big digital billboards and advertisement to share with highly screened and qualified sponsors that want to have that first mover advantage in attaching their brand to when Bitcoin started in Asia, in Thailand. And it being in November is a unique time, not only because of the Bitcoin cycle, or where we feel that we're headed with so much positive regulation in the West, it's also like a premier time for Thailand, where they're really pushing, testing the digital currency sandbox in Phuket. And since we had just recently signed and put our webpage together, bitcoinmarathon.org, you could check that out. You can learn more about that. We think that the festival, actually with a marathon, it's great. It's really awesome. I already see what the team's working on. I'm super inspired by it. But I think the festival's going to have more power, because when you go to a marathon, the first 30 minutes you're there, you're kind of getting the plugs. We run marathons really early here, 3, 4 in the morning. And you're paying attention, and you run and you come back and you eat, and it's sponsored, and it was the world's first one. That's cool. But having 2 full days of awesome music, a concert late at night, amazing food, learning the Lana culture, Northern Thai culture, having all of these small little workshops, trying Lightning because we have the QR prompt pay banking system at the same time. This is awesome. So unlike a conference that would attract Bitcoiners or technical people trying to build infrastructure for Bitcoin, it's more for the general population, students, professionals, families to come and learn more about what Bitcoin is, be exposed to it, have that touch point in their journey, learn about different banks. Like K-Bank right now has a platform. They called us last week. They want to come visit here and learn more. It's crazy to talk to a bank about Bitcoin. I think like the Tether would be such an amazing sponsor to talk to, or the Binances and the BitCubs, big people that really see our vision of exposing and bringing greater awareness to Bitcoin in Thailand.
So what people can get from this event?
Well, I guess there's, for me and for many people, it takes many little marketing touch points in your life to kind of get something. Or from like marketing or advertisers, you need to see an advertisement here, there, and there before you make a purchase. So what the attendees could get is a lot of fun. They see these brands that they keep seeing on billboards that they're aware of. What the sponsors could get is starting to integrate traditional finance into digital finance, because that's where we're going. They can learn about the culture and play the games, and the kids zone, which I heard was really cool. You guys are working on. We have some really cool artists that are performing. So it's a real festival. And I think like when you had shared with Keddy about having the digital signage, it just makes sense, right? It's kind of like...
It's kind of cool. And for those who don't know that we're going to have a marathon this year, it's going to be on November 2nd. But please book the ticket around November 1st, because the festival going to be there too on November 1st. Mm-hmm. And we collaborate with Yipeng Festival, which is very famous festival. It's very beautiful. Yes, please save the date, enjoy it. Loigatong. Yeah,
it's so busy during that time.
Exactly.
So when we do start releasing registration in the next maybe month or so, there'll be the early bird tickets. So our goal is what success looks like to us for this event this weekend would be, so they told us we could probably have 2,500 runners. But like we have big vision, big aspirations. We want to hit 5,000 runners. That will make a statement. And we want to have 10,000 visitors at the festival. So 5,000 for the race, 10,000 for the festival. This is the big ambition. So even if we go really hard and we connect with all the right people in the local market and your friends and everyone that we know, if we really try really hard, maybe we'll exceed that. I don't think we're going to come down to low numbers. We've got so much energy. We've got so much support. We're fired up. This is a super time for Bitcoin, in its life cycle and digitizing everything, and even so it's an awesome opportunity to really bring it all together and give people more exposure and awareness to Bitcoin and the brands that support it.
And these events allow us to work with the local government also. So it's a good opportunity as a Bitcoin Learning Center to work with the local government and make a movement for local Thai people here and international people here. So it's kind of is a thing that allow us to work and to show the proof of work too. Mm-hmm. So I believe that this event is going to be the wonderful event, and we can meet many Bitcoiners around the world if possible. For sure, Bitcoiners in Thailand and in Southeast Asia.
I think the medal and the shirt is going to be really cool.
It's really cool.
Like, even though we kind of know that Bitcoiners that get it, that's not like, there's nothing super special for them other than for obviously the Friday before, we're going to have a 500 person party for Bitcoiners next to the Bitcoin Learning Center and across the street at Kamdara. We're renting all that. That's a big thing. But it's not like a conference where it might attract a lot of people. And we know a lot of people, Bitcoiners, are not runners, but those that are, like, I think to myself, if I've always wanted to go to Thailand, maybe I am a runner, or I could run 3 miles, that medal be pretty badass to get. And I think if they run the big race, they get like the cutoff shirt and the regular shirt, right? So those first year shirts are really cool. And if we do a great job, our second annual Bitcoin Marathon is going to be even bigger and better. So this is like a really awesome opportunity for everyone to be involved. And we do hope a lot of Bitcoiners come. But we understand that there's so many conferences and so many other cool things to be doing in Bitcoin right now. But if you are a runner or you want to be part of the festival, or you want to just be part of that environment, we invite everybody to come.
Let's tell people a little bit about the part of the festival.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a food, it's a music.
Yes, so maybe you could, because I remember yesterday you and Kitty really like digging deep into it. So what is your vision for the food and the music?
So the food, we really want to represent about Lana Thai food, like Northern Thai cuisine. In this event, you can enjoy how to cook as a Lana food. And also we have many sections. For the sports section, music section, food, and other culture. So it's kind of like the festival that you can learn more about Northern Thailand.
And what about this music?
The music is going to be a local Thai music band and also the jazz music. Yeah, we love jazz music. So the music is going to be all day. Oh, also we're going to invite all Bitcoiners, to share their experience on the stage too. Yeah,
tell me. So you had mentioned about the stage. When I saw the marathon stage, you guys had a much greater vision because you want to use the festival stage for the marathon. So tell me, what would that stage look like in your opinion, your vision, and what would those small stage talks sound like?
It's going to be like a modern stage because it's a tech event. So you're going to see a colorful lights, and we're going to invite all the influencer in Thailand and also in international countries too, like in the US, and in Southeast Asia. So it's going to be the event that you learn more. You learn more about people around the world, not just only the marathon, but you're going to learn more about the culture too. And also, Chiang Mai is a top destination for nomads every year, like top 3 every year. So if you never been here, please come and join us.
Nice. So I from what I saw on the rough drafts was that the background of the stage would be totally digital. So the branding for sponsors will be able to have all of their digital advertising. And then our artwork also, we discussed rapidly having some of the running events broadcasted behind us on the stage, right? So these small talks, since the theme is for the general population. It would be more, what is Bitcoin? Why Bitcoin? Introduction to Bitcoin. We know that it's going to be 80% Thai, which is exactly perfect. So it's going to be mostly Thai, passionate people that want to help early stage people learn about what Bitcoin is, right?
Yes, and the place very beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
You explain about the place.
So this was a big one. I felt like this was like a make or break of the event, because we really needed to get this one special place. And it's this brand new park, and it's like 100 acres. It's got lakes. It's got massive mountain views. It's got flowers, colorful flowers and architecture. It's got these running pathways. It's got all sorts of unique, different setups for different areas. It's just a massive place. You could. My thinking was, we need parking, and where could you park 10 or 20,000 people? And this POW Park was like a big thing. And luckily, Dr. Joe is working closely with the community leaders, and he was able to give us a thumbs up about that. And once we had that approval.
Already approved.
Yes. That was a massive, huge make or break thing, because now we could take our event, reach for over 10,000. If by chance the government does really well with their Bitcoin experiment, and things are going well, and the larger government wants to support, if we do move into a 20,000 person, and this is totally possible, if we do move into a 20,000 person festival, because Loic Raton brings in 50,000 people, and if these tailwinds come and all these things collide, we can have 25,000 people at POW Park. So, and that would be just, anywhere else, we just lose that capacity, and that's a constraint. And I think that, if this year happens this way, and we get all these dots, the jigsaw's kind of connecting, then it will be really hard to top it in the second year. So we have to give it, we really have to set the stage, no pun intended. We have to set the goal, the bar very high, and totally exceed it. So this way, people take us very serious for the next year. Just like when people come here, they're like, this is one of the top, best Bitcoin hubs that they've been to in the world. And a lot of these people travel a lot. So we're taking it very serious. We're coming with thunder and lightning, and we're going to make this a super big, super awesome event for everyone involved.
Great. And how the business can reach us if they want to be our partners? So
right now, we have our website, which is bitcoinmarathon.org, or anywhere on the internet where you type in Bitcoin Chiang Mai, you'll find one of us, and it'll all lead paths to here. We're working on a brand new Facebook page to give people another outlet. We're on everything on Nostr and Telegram and Twitter and Signal, everywhere. When you type in Thailand Bitcoin, the Thai people at RightShip are very supportive of us. We're so grateful for the Northern Thai Bitcoiners and the whole Thailand Bitcoin community to support our efforts. So we know we can't do this alone. We know we're going to need everyone to give us, everyone's efforts and everyone's help, including other outside nations, our countries, our friends in Japan and Vietnam and Indonesia and Malaysia, everywhere, everywhere around. So it's definitely not just like our small team effort. We're going to need all hands on deck to help make this a success.
What about the runner? How they can reach us, or how they can buy the ticket?
So the race registration isn't live for another 30 or 40 days. However, once we do have that live, we will be putting up a early bird special. So what happens with races typically is there'll be an international rate and a local rate. We said, no way, man. We're going to keep it even for everybody. And a lot of times you get these great photos and these videos from the racers and the runners, and then they're at the end of the race, it's like, pay $20 for your photo. Like, no way, man. And wait 2 days to get your photos. No way, man. So we've because we're in control of the process, I feel really comfortable. I feel that we could qualify the sponsors because anybody wants to give us money for their project or their crypto token thing, and that's devastating. So high signal, high quality sponsors for the race will help racers find the way. Maybe the brands will put a link on their pages, but eventually all of our social stuff or ways that people find us will have links to the Bitcoin Marathon registration.
Okay, let's buy the ticket. Enjoy us.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for for joining us today. And normally I do the podcast with other guests, not a co-founder. But today is a special day that we're going to announce the half marathon 2025 for Bitcoiners and other people too. And we believe that this event going to be a big thing. A big thing that we can drive the local community and also help to contribute this country to be in the spotlight. Yeah. And then we believe that time is a time that we go and come to celebrate together as a Bitcoiners. Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Thank you.